Good evening.
Welcome to CHMA, broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, Canada. You're listening either on 106.9 FM in the Tantramar area or at www.chmafm.com.
Which is on the internet.
It's on that ones and zeros machine.
How do they make cookies out of ones and zeros?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about that one.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you're going on
and
the
are
internet.
they no-bake? Because no-bake aren't real cookies, man.
Oh, what are they?
I don't know. Just dough. They're
They're
cookie dough. At best. No, they might not even be cookie dough if
That's
they're
true.
not being baked into cookies.
So
the name has cook in it.
I've never thought of this. It has the name cook in it, but does cookie have the same...
Cooking the cookie is a fundamental part. And not only does it have it in English, in French, it has cuit in it, like biscuit, like a twice cooked.
Yes.
So we're doubling down on the cookage here.
Okay, but is the root word in both languages, does it go back to cook? If not, and it's just a coincidence, then I don't think the cookie needs to be cooked. But if you're right that the cook in cookie or the
what else could it be? Why would it be across multiple languages if you didn't have to cook the cookie for it to be a cookie?
Coincidences have never happened in language. What's a seal called? Just wondering.
Yeah, it's called a seal. Sunday at 6 o'clock on Family Radio, man. Don't be whipping out your third grade French immersion questions on me.
You flatter me with French immersion. I was never that smart. Mm-hmm. This is Ground Control at YMC Midgic Airport. You're joining myself, Air Traffic Controller Thomas, who did all 9 years of core French.
Ooh.
And I'm joined by...
Me, Air Traffic Controller Luke, is passionate about cookies.
Very passionate about cookies. You make a good cookie, though.
Thank you.
You do.
Yeah.
And they're usually... Now, some people find this weird. I don't find this weird. You keep them in, like, the cupboard in the break room.
Yes.
Instead of out on the table.
Yeah. Just because that's where they go.
Yeah, like...
They go on top of the extra plates.
Yeah.
So that you might just be like, oh, I need a plate. And then you open the cupboard and you're like, man, I get a cookie
as well, yeah.
Think of the benefits of your day.
And for those with either animals, tall animals, or small children who like to get in those sorts of things, you can't just leave them out. They're going to
disappear.
They're going to disappear.
You're going to come back and find a bite taken out of your cookie at best. Worst. Find no cookies.
No cookies, and at least one upset stomach. Like, that's never fun to deal with.
No.
Any case, you can join us for the next hour as we watch us, guys, listen to some tunes, chat, and we'll be done by weathering.
Oh, that's perfect.
We're actually pretty close to Sunday, right?
Oh, now. Yeah, I could make
somewhat of a prediction.
This is pre-recorded live.
It is.
On Friday evening?
This is Friday evening.
So our weather's going to, like we had, in my opinion, we had almost the perfect week. We had a little rain.
Yeah.
We had like low 20s, but sunny.
And breezy. Like a nice breeze every once in a while.
I biked down here to the airport and like died because I was out of shape, not because it was warm out.
Sure, yeah.
Which is a whole different experience.
100%, yeah. You definitely feel worse about yourself.
Thank you.
I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay. So what I'm calling for, what I'm predicting, like because this is airing as we go into an extra day of weekend for some people.
It's true. Yes, you have one more day of weekend.
I'm going to call more of this like low 20s sunshine business.
Yeah, I think that's what we're having to.
All right. We've voted it in.
That's a great weather prediction. Hey, you were making fun of my French earlier. We're going to try a French tune today.
Is it an amp us up tune?
Oh, it's a toe tapper.
Ooh, a French toe tapper. All right, I'm prepared.
This is why I wanted to play it. Local. We've done a lot of local songs. We've done very good at doing
quite
local
a few.
music.
Yeah,
but one thing we haven't done a lot is like, the Tantramar area local.
Okay.
So this
super local.
Very local. This is Ray Legier, who has a show both on CHMA and Tantramar Radio.
Okay.
His show is about bluegrass, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So here is Ray Legier himself.
Banging out a bluegrass toe tapper.
Bluegrass toe tap.
gros Sackville à Ronnie. Y'a du monde qui m'appelle en full speed. Ça fait 15 ans que la police m'a pris. Ils m'ont drivé de la penitentiary. J'ai fait le bon gars puis m'ont laissé sortir une couple d'années plus tôt. Que je gagne ma vie à couper des landrines, des arbres et des ados et d'eau. Tous les vendeurs disent pas la plus grosse paye. Puis ce gars il séduit d'eau pareil. Des longues heures puis des gros chaleurs d'eau à piquer dans le soleil. Laisse-moi te dire de quoi pour free. Quand c'est le temps que j'appelle ma grosserie. C'est dans ce temps-là que je suis comme Freddy. J'ai viré pas quand j'ai vu les prix. J'étais jeune, moi j'avais peur de rien. J'étais une jet quand que je faisais les chemins. Ça fait une couple de mois, c'était où je me travaille à pied. La gaz est bien trop cher, moi je peux pas la fourrer. Si je prends une marche jusqu'au SO, pas trop loin de chez nous. Acheter des smokes, une caisse de 12, puis un sac de GB2. J'ai plus grand cash, plus de 50$, ouais, ça devrait être en masse. J'ai vu le total, puis ça faisait mal, t'aurais pu dire par mes grimaces. Laisse-moi te dire de quoi pour free. Quand c'est le temps que j'aille faire la grosserie. C'est dans ce temps-là que je suis comme Freddy. J'ai vidé pas quand j'ai vu les prix. Laisse-moi te dire de quoi pour free. Quand c'est le temps que j'aille faire la grosserie. C'est dans ce temps-là que je suis comme Freddy. J'ai vidé pas quand j'ai vu les prix.
C'était Laisse-moi dire.
Ah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Which
go ahead.
Transliterates to oh, you told me, but I can already not get it.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the closest. It definitely wouldn't be let me tell you. It would be like
yeah.
Yeah. It's got a little.
Let me tell you.
Little crunch dumpness there.
Let me tell you about
I think is what the English people use for. You take two words, put the
crunch
apostrophe.
it together. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, as someone who on the side is going to be teaching English this year.
Oh, yeah,
I can tell you for sure.
That's a word crunch.
Yeah, that's what we call them in the teaching classrooms, the public teaching classrooms. Mm-hmm. We call them word crunches.
Excellent.
Do what else is crunchy? Basketball in the Maritimes.
We've
had like quite a few professional basketball teams pop up and disappear.
Yeah, we've had several in Moncton.
We've had several in Moncton.
Magic, Mystic.
Yeah. In St. John, we had the St. John River Rats, which turned in there, and then they wwent marketing. River Rats is a terrible name. And I think it was like the Port City.
Come on in, get your rat dogs. Yeah. Come on. Sport your rat tail and get in free.
I like
river rats, actually.
Yeah, I liked it. No, sorry, mill rats.
Mill rats.
Because of, of course, the pulp mill and the paper mills. Yeah. I liked the mill rats name. Mm-hmm. This is a complete tangent from where we're talking about, but I will stand on like St. John Mill Rats.
Solid, and more so because you don't hear a lot of rat like sports teams. No. I've joked about on this show before that you're like, there's some big warehouse where they go into the back room and pull out all the mascot uniforms, and you only have 12 choices. Yeah, but I can't think of a pro league with rats.
And just think of.
But if there was, it'd be Boston.
It's true. You're not wrong. I think it.
No offense, Boston. Love your city.
No offense, Boston.
Great market.
To the city. Bostonians take offense. Look, We have zero listeners from Boston, and
we don't know that.
Oh, I do. And
now that we have like 17 listeners,
it's true.
Someone could be tuning in from Boston.
Hey, if you're listening from Boston, stop listening.
Well, we settled that.
Yeah. Hey, we're very pro this show.
We're very pro anti-Boston.
We are very pro a lot of things. Like I always say, the fans of the show, friends of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, not friends of the show, enemies of the show.
Really?
Enemies of the show. I have strong feelings. No, let me take that back. Boston, the city, friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Bostonians.
But you see, is that skewed because your only view of Bostonians is through sports teams? Like maybe it's just the sports fans in Boston.
It's also just
Bostonians.
Just they have a very, very racist history, and that racist history is not
all behind them.
Yeah, it's not all behind them. It's still pretty prevalent. I didn't want to touch on that part.
You knew we were going there, but I could have shut it off.
Anyway,
okay. Sorry, basketball.
Hey, you know what? The Boston Celtics won the chip this year.
That's a good thing.
Well, when you win the championship, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize we were crunching words again, and I didn't know what you meant.
Fair. No, yeah,
I thought it might be some other obscure thing that I just.
No, the championship. So,
there you go.
They did a really good in basketball, and we are talking about a couple of teams that are coming, professional basketball teams, or I should say, semi-professional basketball teams coming to. The Maritimes. So 2 have been announced for the Basketball League.
The Basketball League. TBL.
Maybe. Yes, the TBL. You're right. That is what they're going by. The Basketball League, formerly North America Premier Basketball.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think the Basketball League is better. I think they think the Basketball League is like a very strong name, but I think it's just confusing.
The awesome Basketball League of Excellence, then they could get table.
You know what? I think that's better.
Everyone rocking out in their tables jerseys.
So the Basketball League is a professional basketball league providing player salaries from $500 to $6,500 per month. While each team has an operation budget of $125,000 to $250,000 per season.
So a couple pro players and a bunch of pro players that probably still have to keep another job.
Oh, if you get $500 a month, it's like you're a really good basketball player who has a desk job,
but still jams.
Yeah, your desk job is like probably pretty good, and you have like benefits and stuff, and then you just play basketball on the side for money because it's cool.
Man, I think that's probably the slice of pro sports where you would be apt to find the most passionate people about the sport.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's like, despite the fact that I might not make a career at this, I still want to play, still want to challenge myself at the highest level I can play at. And, there'd be a lot of sacrifices about keeping a job like that and playing on a team like that. So
it's something
that's a neat thing to know exists.
Yeah, and it's something that I know exists here in at least some form in professional wrestling, in the sense that there is quite a big, I will say, there's quite a few independent professional wrestling promotions here in the Maritimes, and I don't think there's anyone
getting paid
enough to subsist as just a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
But there are people who've been wrestling in the Maritimes, and every once in a while we'll get a bit like a quote unquote big TV break, as in, they lose a match to a big star on television. For like 20 years.
Yeah.
But they're the people who are like, my job is I put up ring. I'm the head of ring crew. I put up the wrestling ring. I tear down. Oh,
you do logistics and you're a performer.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, man. Do all parts of it because man, it takes an entire village to make a show like that happen.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Cool.
It's interesting, and it is really cool.
Sorry, I sidetracked you for like the third time from
chill.
the league that should have been called table.
Yeah, it should have been called tables. Not. They have 38 teams currently, and they are looking to expand even more. So they
Into Sackville?
I wish. But the two teams that they have announced recently are the Halifax Hoopers.
All right.
Or Hopper. I don't know what the difference in the spelling would be. But the Halifax Hopper is...
That's the Harbor Hopper.
The Harbor Hopper, yes.
Yeah.
The
amphibious
carboat.
Yeah.
So I don't
Larv. It's a military vehicle originally.
Yes,
It's like light amphibious.
LAV, right? A LAV?
No.
No.
Because it's light amphibious resupply. I think it's LARV. And then by tonnage, for a very short period of my life before coming to work in air traffic control, I worked in parts supplies. And one of the great things I got to do was supply some parts for amphibious vehicles.
That's super neat.
Yeah, it's weird niches you fall into sometimes.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a Halifax Hooper or a Halifax Hopper. I kind of hope it's a Hoppers, because the Halifax Hoppers...
It's a good name.
That's not bad, especially when you...
And Hoopers makes me think of Coopers and like making barrels in basketball. Suppose. Now, Hoppers is better.
Yeah, Hoppers
is better all around.
And then St. John, I don't think St. John's getting a team, but I don't think...
They haven't announced a name as of yet.
Not announced.
Gosh, I hope it's rat-based.
Oh, man. I really, really hope it is. So I'm going to give you the team names. Now, I said we have 38.
Oh, 38. You're just going to give me like a sprinkling.
Yes. So, I don't know. I think I might give you a lot of them because there's some good names.
It's going to be like a machine gun rating system.
So for the Atlantic Northeast, so that is the division closest to us, right?
We are in the Atlantic and the North and the East.
Yes. So
of North America.
Looking at the teams, they are the ones that would be closest to us. We have the Albany Patroons, the Connecticut Crusaders, the Frederick Flying Cows.
Top marks. Stop it there. We've reached.
We're going home?
Yeah, it's done. We've reached the pinnacle.
The Frederick Flying Cows?
Yeah.
Jamestown Jackals.
It's fine, but they're not going to mess with the cows.
Reading Rebels.
Okay.
Might be Reading.
I think it's Reading, Pennsylvania.
It's Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Reading Rebels. Rhode Island Kraken. I don't mind that.
That's it's fine.
The Tri-State Admirals. The Virginia Valley Vipers.
I like the alliteration. I'll give them that.
Going to Atlantic Southeast, we have the Coastal Georgia Buccaneers, the Jacksonville 59ers, the Raleigh Firebirds, and the Rocket City Flight. That's awesome.
It's no flying cows, but it's still pretty good.
In Central, we have the...
Can I buy a flying cows jersey?
Dude, I might now.
I think... We'll discuss this later.
Oh, 100%. But we're doubling back to that.
Listen, man, I will stop even here to put pause because we've rated team names in leagues before. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this league is putting some work in. Like, they're not going to the back room of recycled mascots. They're trying.
We got the Enid Outlaws, Little Rock Lightning, Potawatomi Fire, Santa Ana Thunder, Texas Seveners. We need to get away from the numbers.
So the numbers are tough.
Wichita Sky Kings. I'll just see if there's... Derby City Distillers is awesome.
Yeah, that's fine.
Lebanon Leprechauns. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
West Virginia Grind, I like.
Yeah. Tough to get I wonder what their mascot is.
Yeah.
The gym rat? Can St. John be the gym rat?
Maybe the gym rats. And Vancouver Volcanoes, I am not a fan of.
Yeah. Although BC's pretty geologically active.
And I actually did just find the name of the St. John team.
Drum roll.
The Port City Power.
Shouldn't it be the point, wouldn't it be the Point LaPro Power?
I would actually rather it be called the Point LaPro Power.
Yeah.
No, this is...
St. John Power.
Yeah, it's just... I guess it's going to be sponsored by St. John Power.
Okay.
Boo. St. John Energy.
Oh.
Right?
Does St. John still have its own electricity grid?
Yeah, it does. St. John
Really?
Energy, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like they have a bunch of rebates in St. John that you can't get other places in New Brunswick just through St. John Energy. Yeah, they were doing heat pump rebates long before
we're reaching the capacity of our grid. What can we do?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
it's critical. All right, so table, they got some good names.
Yeah, good names. So I'm gonna check out the basketball league. I'm gonna check out probably the Halifax Hoopers and the Port City Power.
Yeah,
Port City Power playing at the Lord Beaverbrook rink, which is a walking distance from my mother's house.
Oh,
yeah. So maybe I'll go take a walk on down.
Yeah, I went and saw like some higher level professional basketball a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up more entertained than I thought I would.
Yeah, it is entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
We should go.
Sure.
Okay.
Staff trip.
Taking friend of the show, Jay, with us.
Oh.
Hey, you got a tune?
I got all kinds of tunes.
Hey, you got one from Port Cities.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about this Port City Power. You want to play Port Cities back to the bottom?
It's topical now. Let's bring it in. Give us the Port Cities tune.
Yeah, Back to the Bottom by Port Cities and Dylan Guthrow.
There must be something in the water, or maybe something in the wine. I learn the same old lesson every time. I'm staring up at the surface, trying to catch my breath. I'd probably break through if it didn't scare me half to death. So I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom. When you're holding me closer, you're only pulling me down. And I tell myself never again every time I drown. Sometimes I'm attracted to the cool blue glow, but it's all just pretend. I choke from the bands I quietly sink like a stone. So I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm going back. So let me be your anchor. Let me hold your hand. Just wasting all this time trying to understand. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. Going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. Going back to the bottom, back to the bottom. I'm going back to the bottom, back.
Hey, Port City's great.
Man, they usually pack in all the harmonies, and I feel like that song is good vocally. It's cool that they have the back and forth, but could have thrown
A couple more harms in there.
just one or two.
Especially when they got David Guthrow on it.
Is he a powerhouse of harmonies?
I just assume when you have like an extra person, you're going to have a couple more.
Oh,
a little bit more
like you
singing.
get an extra,
right?
like bonus round of harmonies.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And hey, do you want to know what's coming up this week?
All kinds of stuff?
All kinds of stuff. We already talked about the Mount A Music Faculty Gala. That's going to be on Friday, September 6th. That's free at 7 p.m. That's the one where a bunch of new kids come in and are forced to watch their profs flex all over them.
Oh, yeah, we discussed that. The throwdown.
Yeah, so if you want to see profs just be like, hey,
We've been friggin' with this all summer.
Yeah, I'm really good at music. You are about to be impressed by my musics. Yeah, check that out at 134 Main Street. That's going to be at Brunton Auditorium. That's the conservatory music here in town, and that's at 7:30 on Friday, September 6th. Actually, before that, Mount A Music has another thing going on at Brunton Auditorium, and this is the Choral Society Startup. So, Mount Allison,
yes,
if you're in studies at Mount Allison, especially in the music program or not in the music program, you can join the Choral Society as a credit. So as school credit to go towards your degree.
Yes.
Community members are also encouraged to join. So,
can we get a credit?
Are you doing studies at Mount Allison currently?
No, but I'm a local. Can I pay tuition for that?
One credit?
Yeah.
Probably.
Huh.
They'll take your money.
Yeah, because that that at a different post-secondary educational institution, I'm only a few credits away from a meaningless degree.
Yeah, you could see.
And while I can't sing at all,
that doesn't matter.
Excellent. I would just have to prove that I know like the theory of singing.
I think you would probably have to do an audition if you're a community member. But I think you might be able to fudge the audition.
You would have to pick a piece. Excuse me. When I say you would have to pick a piece, I really mean you.
Like me,
would have to pick a piece for me.
Yes.
That was in a very narrow range.
Yes.
And I would have to beat this head cold.
No, we could work around that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
Anyway.
We'll see if we get you into the Choral Society. But for anyone else, hey, the Choral Society is open to anyone, invites all community members to come sing. And that starts at 7 p.m. Tuesday, September 3rd. That's this Tuesday, just in a couple days' time. 7 p.m. at the Brunton Auditorium, 134 Main Street.
All right.
Oh, we got Latin night at Ducky's.
Oh.
Yeah. Dance lessons at 7:30. Enjoy some Latin music. That cost is $5.
Dude, I wonder if what's his name's going to be there.
Street. Martin?
Yeah.
Probably.
Guitar Slayer.
Yeah, he's really good at guitar.
Yeah.
I hope Martin's there. Martin's awesome.
Like that guy.
I like that guy
Wife's
too.
super nice too.
Yeah.
Bet his kids are nice too.
They definitely are. Marshlight Theater also is holding auditions for The Return of Grace, which is an upcoming production coming to the Marshlight Theater Company. So if you are interested in auditioning for the Marshlight Theater Company for The Return of Grace, they have auditions from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday.
Have you ever been to see a live theater production where you were upset and like when you left?
No, I haven't.
No, me neither. Are we not seeing enough live theater?
We're probably not seeing enough live theater. We should go see some more live theater. The last thing I want to point out, it is not this week, but I'm not sure if we're going to have a chance to shout it out again until it happens. Sunday, September 15th, is the Mount Allison's men lacrosse game against Dalhousie.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Moofle, I think it was last week.
You were.
So the Maritime University Field Lacrosse League is the highest level of field lacrosse in Canada, and Mount A has their game against just dominant champions Dalhousie.
Your chance to see future Olympians, more than likely.
More than likely, it's true. Yeah, that's what we're looking at for events this week. You got some news, dude?
I think I do.
What's your news, dude?
Were you aware that we've been running on the ragged edge of the water supply in Sackville?
Dude, that's my news!
Is it?
Yes!
Dude, I
didn't know this either!
It's right on the CHMA website if you want to read the actual facts, but I'm going to give you the...
Give me the Coles notes. So you got it from CHMA. I got it straight from Bruce Wark.
Oh,
so
you're always going work time.
I'm always going work time. So we have different sources for this same story.
Here is what I understand of it. And again, because of a niche background in weird supplies before I came to aviation.
Because I had questions about... I won't try to spoil it, but I had questions
about the pumps.
About the pumps, exactly.
Okay, so we pump our water from underground into a treatment center, then up into a water tower, and then out into all of our taps and tubs.
Yes.
That's my understanding of how the water flow works.
Now, the pumps, from my understanding, the well is very deep underground.
Yeah, the water table here, which I think is the proper term, is it's quite deep. So we're pumping it up from quite a depth.
Which pumping anything upwards, fighting against gravity, is difficult.
Especially when you're pulling, you lose a lot of efficiency, I believe. When suction instead of pushing, that's just the nature of pumping any liquid. From what I understand, and maybe some physics prof is listening to this and being like, blah, blah, blah. "I'm very angry at the people on CHMA radio and their understanding of pumps."
Yeah, no.
But anytime I've tried to pump a liquid, especially under pressure, which you would need a water system to be under pressure, you always want to mount your pump at the low point in the system.
Yes,
and that's very hard to do with water if you need any amount of volume.
Yeah.
So these pumps are mounted at ground level and they're sucking the water up. Mm-hmm. So they're relying on vacuum to get the pump to ground level, and then probably a secondary pump to move it along from there.
And my understanding is, again, because of physics, the longer a pipe is upwards, the more force, the more difficult it is.
Yeah, it's like an exponential thing.
Exactly.
It's not twice as hard as pump up from 20 feet that is 40 feet. It's,
8 times as
exactly.
hard.
Pick
and
a
then
number.
16 times of hard.
Yeah.
And 32 times.
Yeah, stats are made up anyway. Yeah, exactly. But sufficient to say, our pumps have been in place for 20 years.
Yes.
Okay, which you have to think these are 100% duty cycle, so they never and maybe they're not. But my understanding, quick having read this, is while the volume may change, these are never shut off.
Sure. Yes.
So that's, in mechanical things, we would refer to a duty cycle as how much time they are on versus how much time they are at rest. Mm-hmm. So a 50% duty cycle would mean in a given hour, something works 30 minutes and then it's off 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But these pumps are 100%.
Yeah.
They just go. Mm-hmm. And it would seem that the efficiencies of these pumps have fallen quite a lot over time.
Yes.
Which is expected. I mean, every moving part has a life cycle.
Humans included.
Yes. Some of us shorter than others.
Yes. Due to the parts we're given.
Yeah, I'm moving more. No. Anyway, so it's okay, these pumps are 20 years old. Mm-hmm.
The pumps are 27 years old.
Okay, knocking on 30 years old. And it's it's just one of those things where it's become apparent that we are operating at the edge of what they can provide. So if something were to happen that would really stress our water system, see water main break, see large fire
at Joey's.
Yeah. See, especially if you were to see maybe multiple issues at once, it could become a problem.
A very
quite
big
quickly.
Problem. I just want to read a quote quickly. This is from John
hit me with a quote, because I didn't read that one.
Totally. So this quote is from John Apple, who was speaking when quoted here in front of Tantramar Council at its committee of the whole meeting on Monday. John Apple is the town's engineer. Mm-hmm. Quote, "I'm not sure if people have understood that we've had difficulties over the last 15 to 16 months meeting the demand for water in Sackville."
Which, let me pause you there.
Yes.
Give that guy a pat on the back. That
100%.
when you're working with suboptimal gear or tired equipment, and they've kept the service level at a level where it's not publicly known until just now that there was water issues. Anyway, sorry.
He was doing his job.
Carry on with your quote.
For example, that when firefighters were battling the blaze that destroyed Joey's restaurant last year, they needed to pump additional water from Silver Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Apple added that the town has been managing the risk of a water shortage by repairing water main breaks quickly and adjusting flushing of the system. So we've talked about on the show not that long ago how impressed we were about
at the speed of water main repair.
Exactly. And this is why, because the worry isn't just water main repair, it's the entire supply for the town.
Yeah. One, and from my standpoint, it's like if you're operating a machine that's already inefficient and possibly worn out, then if you were to stress that machine by overtaxing it, you're falling into what we might consider like accelerated wear. You're no longer taking the average minute off that pump's life expectancy.
Yes.
Like if you're taxing it, you might be taking an hour for every minute all of a sudden, right? So
after lengthy investigations, they think it's because of the low lift pumps. So they're still not 100% sure. Apple said, we believe that there's wear in the impellers, the blades that push the water through. And we've concluded that they're operating, in some cases, perhaps less than 50% of the expected efficiency.
Yeah, I think that's the number that was tossed around in the article I read as well. And possibly that quote was used.
Apple said, because money is tight, he's recommending that council authorizes spending $36,300 to refurbish one of the pumps, a process that can take 11 to 12 weeks. They then go through the minutia. Council goes through the minutia of doing it all at once, what that looks like.
Yeah.
Essentially, they've come to the conclusion they're going to vote on it.
Yes,
in September, but come to the conclusion that they need to repair them one at a time. So
and then from what I read, I believe Councillor Esterbrook suggested that maybe the best solution was to put in one new pump and then you could cycle through your remaining three.
Sure.
So then as you replace one new, then you're at capacity that'll make up for the lack of the other two, and then you can cycle through until you have two fully reconditioned.
Yep.
And a backup on hand if things go sideways, right?
Totally.
And, man, I know budgets are tight everywhere, but to me, drinking water is not one of the things you super want to mess with.
Absolutely not.
So that seemed like a pretty reasonable ask, but
I would say so.
Anyway, so water, just be like... appreciative of it?
Very appreciative of it. And it's actually not even the only water news we have.
Really?
Yeah. So, the contract for the water treatment plant is also coming up.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, since 2007, Sackville's water treatment plant has been operated and maintained by Viola, I think is how you pronounce it.
Like the instrument?
It's not... It's... like the instrument, but with an E in between the V and the O.
Well, that's a really hard thing to picture as someone who doesn't do words spelled out in the thin air.
Viola.
Okay.
Since 2007, Sackville's water treatment plant has been operated and maintained by Viola, a multinational company based in France. After the amalgamation in Tantramar in 2003...
Are the French well known for their water management?
Apparently, because they're the ones... Well, let's get into it. After the amalgamation of Tantramar in 2003, the contract was amended immediately to include Dorchester's water system. Viola runs Moncton's water system. So Moncton has this world-renowned water system.
I there's something about this in the article I read as well, but go on.
So Viola also runs Moncton's water system, and that Monday's Tantramar Council Committee meeting, John Eppel said the company can continue to offer its services to Tantramar because its much larger Moncton contract has been renewed for 5 more years. Again, I won't get into the minutiae of it right now, but essentially the only reason we can afford Viola
is because we're piggybacking on a large metropolitan area.
Exactly.
So they have trucks or staff in the area or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, they already have the staff in the area.
Gotcha.
So we are going to essentially sign the contract with Viola for 5 more years because it is very beneficial for us to also have a world-renowned water treatment company. I will say Councillor Debbie Wiggins-Caldwell, who I have been a big fan of because she is the former mayor of Dorchester who got the work done on Shep the Sandpiper.
Oh, right, yes.
So Councillor Debbie was the lone dissenting voice when Council voted to refer to the matter in its regular September 9th meeting. She said Tantramar should have staff trained and certified in water treatment in case Moncton opts out in 5 years and Viola leaves the province. Tantramar, this is a quote from Councillor Debbie, Tantramar water treatment and staff should be certified and up to date, so if anything happens down the road, they are ready to take over. That's always been a big concern of mine. Water is a very important part of our system. And she is right, and I understand completely her opinion. I don't understand that as a member of the community, for me, there's a disconnect between that statement and why we can't have both, like why we can't train up water treatment people in the community.
Well, put it this way, like I know when that water main broke up by and this is insider baseball, folks, up by the Drew.
Yeah.
It was repaired quite quickly.
Very quickly.
By Town of Sackville or Tantramar regional staff.
It was. That's true.
So there's and I'm not sure what the hierarchy, what the ranking, what the different levels of being trained on water treatment and water things are, but it would seem like we already have people that are fairly confident here.
Yes.
Looking at the speed at which things are dealt with. So I guess it would depend all on the amount of additional training and certification required to get those people up to that level.
100%.
Like if you're one step away and we could send a person off for a couple weeks and get like bumped up, heck
we
yeah,
1,000% should. But if
it's a multi-year project,
4-year degree for a single person in
exactly, engineer, exactly, then maybe it's easier to farm this out. And without that information, it's tough to make that call.
Exactly. But it's certainly a conversation that the town is having.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the town is having this conversation because like Councillor
Because we
Debbie,
shouldn't be having it.
We shouldn't at all.
No.
But like Councillor Debbie Wiggins.
We'll stick to air traffic control.
Said that, water is very important. I agree with that. Water is important. Hey, water, friend of the show.
Yeah, big fans of water over here.
Yeah, we're big fans of water. Hey, do what's on next.
After this show?
After this show.
I should remember by now.
Well, it used to be known as Under the Needle.
Oh, but
now,
it's changed?
It's known as Live on KEXP. Live on KEXP. Oh, I just punched your microphone. Live on KEXP brings you the very best of KEXP's world-renowned live in-studio and remote performances. Each week, we'll bring you a new live session from emerging artists to well-established acts spanning styles, genres, and cultures. They've had everyone. I'm going to do the full list this week.
Okay.
They've had
Deep breath.
Everyone. Oh, do you want me to do it in one breath? Whew.
Well, no, you can block it up, but you do.
They've had Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, Florence and the Machine, the Lumineers of Monster and Men, Alt J, Arctic Monkeys, London Grammar, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Portugal the Man, Mac DeMarco, Alabama Shakes, The War on Drugs, Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zero, Churches, Phoebe Bridges, Wilco, Alves, Dinosaur Jr., Robert Glasser Experience, The National, Mob Depp. I couldn't do it in one. Boy Genius, Bixie, Fleet Foxes, The Hives, Father John Misty, Gary Clark Jr., The XX, Kamasi Washington, St. Vincent, Purity Ring, Tegan and Sarah, Christian McBride, Jeremy Dutcher, so many more, including Nova Scotian band Sloan and Kilo Math rock band Elephant Jim. You can check them all out at kexp.org or at youtube.com/KEXP.
I'm still impressed, even though it wasn't one breath. That was a good read.
It's an okay read. Sunday at 8 p.m., we have a Black Atlantic, a primarily Black Atlantic-centric podcast, website, and media channel with the goal of bringing Atlantic POC voices to the world. Hosted by Clinton Davis and Hilary LeBlanc. You can check them out at www.blackatlantic.ca. You can follow them on Spotify, and you can visit their YouTube page. After that, we have The Night Shift with Luca Capone.
Never know what you're going to get with Luca Capone.
Never know what you're going to get with Luca Capone, spitting a diverse, adventurous mix of sounds ranging from psychedelic jazz to experimental hip-hop with a heavy focus on Canadian and independent artists. Who do you got for promo?
Man, I'm going to throw it out this week. Promo curveball. It's a new week.
It's a new week.
We didn't discuss this in the news because we got sidetracked. The students are back.
The students are back, yeah. Frosh Week starts today.
Yeah, so it's conceivable that some Frosh will be listening.
It is conceivable that some Frosh
and
will be
that
listening.
if they are, they're probably radio enthusiasts.
I'd say so.
So come get a show.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
It is really easy.
I mean, it's easier for me because I got like a tech guru across the table here. But even so, we received some initial training up at the CHMA studio. We left the break room and got some on-site training.
Yes, we rarely leave the break room, but when we do, we get on-site training.
Yeah, and it's live radio. Get behind it.
It's awesome. Hey, get behind any local radio station if you're listening to this right here on CHMA or anywhere where you're at, man. There's local radio literally across this planet. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. And it's
So your gold star is going to the Bound A Frosh?
No.
Oh. What was
we were just discussing it. I was shouting out the future shows that could stem from but no, I was going to give it actually to I was torn. Maybe I'll give it to half the Frosh organizers.
Okay, yeah.
And all the student volunteers that go out to help orientate, to help show the ropes to the new educational people, but also to the wait staff at every food service place in town who are going to be dealing with the kids who just got their student loans for the first time.
Goodness, yeah.
And budgetary skills may not have been learned yet.
No, they haven't.
So, a lot of industries are boom and bust, and I would think that food service in a university town, as the student loans come raining down into is
it's pretty good.
Yeah, but I think it's also probably a bit of a headache. So
one half to the Frosh Week organizers and student volunteers, and also one half to food service workers. You know who I'm going to give it to? I've given it to this group before.
Ooh.
But I am going to give them the second gold star. This is a second gold star to teachers.
Oh, yeah, they're back to week.
They are back and week already.
Back to work this week.
So teachers in New Brunswick are already back to work. Teachers in Nova Scotia go back next week. University teachers are back this week as well. Yes, professors and adjunct professors and whatever else have you. Lecturers. That's the other word I was looking for.
Oh, there you go. Man, you know a lot about the university system.
Ooh, this is what happens when
you do it for a minute.
You do it for a minute, and education is your side gig.
Yeah. Well, it can't be air traffic control every night.
No, it can't be air traffic control every night. And you know what? We already got, Greg's a really good teacher for air traffic control, and he's the same age we are. He's not retiring anytime soon. So
well, there you go.
Can't take over teaching here yet, but that is mine. So mine is it's a second gold star for teachers, and the first half of a gold star for Frosh Week organizers and student volunteers, and the first half of a gold star for food service workers. Hey, let's play a tune.
All right, what are you feeling?
Do you want to? I got a band here.
Okay,
Brise Glace.
Interesting.
I think is French.
Okay,
because they're from Quebec.
Yeah. Oh, you're stretching the local too and dipping into the Quebec pool.
No, we're going to.
We haven't done this since the Quebec redneck bluegrass project?
Well, that's because Breeze Glass came to the St. Martin's Sea Shanty Festival.
Gotcha.
That me, my mother, and my loving, beautiful wife,
Yep.
and her parents all went to and enjoyed. We went and saw the Bear McNeils, which were incredible.
Yeah.
And Breeze Glass was on just before the Bear McNeils, so we saw the end of their act.
Yep.
And
So it could be like icebreaker or breaking ice, I think, depending on how you'd do it. But I'm going to choose to believe it's like icebreaker.
Yeah,
like
icebreaker makes sense. Yeah, as a ship. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they're doing sea shanties, that's
makes sense, doesn't it?
Gosh, yeah, let me put
So-
that together in live radio.
This song, though, is going to throw you for a loop because it's called Roll, Alabama, Roll.
All right.
So here's Roll, Alabama, Roll by Breeze Glass.
When the Alabama king was laid, roll Alabama, roll. It was laid the yard of Jonathan Slurd. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. It was laid the yard of Jonathan Slurd. Roll Alabama, roll. She was built in the town of Birkenhead. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. When the Alabama keel was laid, roll Alabama, roll. It was laid in the yard of Jonathan Slurd. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. It was laid in the yard of Jonathan Slurd. Roll Alabama, roll. She was built in the town of Birkenhead. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. I still send the Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Nothing much to China, she sailed then. Roll Alabama, roll. Liverpool fitted her with guns and men. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. From the western highlands she sailed forth. Roll Alabama, roll. To destroy the commerce of the north. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. I still sail the Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Susanna, don't cry for me. I still sail the Alabama with a banjo on my knee. To a Sherwood port she sailed one day. Roll Alabama, roll. To collect her share of prize money. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. So many young sailors sealed the doom. Roll Alabama, roll. Where the Yankees sailed into view. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. Susanna, don't cry for me. I still sail the Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Roll Alabama, roll. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. Roll Alabama, roll. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. I still sail the Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Till the boat for Fort Beaver that day. Roll Alabama, roll. Blew the Alabama stern away. Oh, roll Alabama, roll. Of the 3
miles limit in 64. Roll, Alabama, roll. She sank down to the ocean floor. Oh, roll, Alabama, roll.
Is there an H in Alabama?
In French, there is.
I'm sorry, there's an H in Alabama?
No, it's just hard in French. Like, people who speak French as a core language, to go into an A without an H sound is sometimes very difficult. So I was just commenting that he does a very good job of not leaning into that while singing and not saying like Alabama. It's just one of those. Yeah. I mean, man obviously has an accent,
quite thick,
which we've discussed in a singing context before. It's a hit or miss thing.
Yeah, it's usually if I learn a song, like if I were to learn this song, I would have a fairly faint Quebecois accent
because you would have heard it.
Yes,
as that, and they're trying to replicate it.
Yeah,
and
it's just a different part of your brain.
Exactly, it's music, not speech, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, I was just saying, like, that's. Yeah, good on that, dude.
Yeah. That's a nice little song, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, as you said, ticking off our banjo.
Yeah, well, we got banjo on our first song with Ray Legier. We're taking off the accordion box.
Now we got accordion in there. We just missed mandolin this week.
We didn't get a mandolin. Next week, we're going to have to bring some mandolin in.
It's going to be all mandolin.
It's going to be the mandolin hour.
Special.
Do you know what I don't think we're going to get this week? Secret jazz.
Oh, man, I was going to confront you about the secret jazz because it came to my attention. You've been sneaking jazz in at the end of the parade.
Well, sometimes if we don't have enough time, you just need to talk more. That's the problem.
Well, listen,
the folks are here.
You know how I feel about jazz.
I know. That's why I put it on.
Jazz is the pixie sticks of music, man. It's rotting your teeth.
Exactly.
It's not good for the kids.
It's making you.
Any kids who haven't gone to bed yet? Don't get involved in jazz.
It's because of jazz.
Uh-huh.
You know why literacy rates are down in New Brunswick?
Jazz.
All not COVID. Jazz. Nothing to do with students.
That quote's about
had
jazz.
Nothing to do with kids not being in school for multiple years in a row.
No, it's the proliferation of jazz.
Exactly. Jazz is on such a big comeback in the Maritimes that
we need to snuff it out.
Yeah, because kids.
We don't want your kids getting into jazz.
No, because their reading level is going to go down. Yeah. Their math and arithmetic.
They're going to get cavities.
Going to go down. They're going to get cavities. Jazz causes cavities and brain rot. Thank you for listening. Thank you to CHMA for hosting and broadcasting and approving this message about jazz. Check them out at chmafm.com and CHMAFM on all the socials. Give us a shout out on the socials ourselves at Midgic Airport. Finally, if you miss an episode, you can catch us anywhere you get your podcasts. Signing off.
Have a great night, folks.
Thank you.